Hey YouTube, it's Tech Savvy Solution, and I'm here with my top 6 apps for students. Now the school year has ended, and I've taken some time to really reflect on the apps on my phone, and the apps that I found most useful to me. Now these aren't apps that I just went ahead and downloaded once and used once and never used again, but these are apps that I've pretty much relied on for everyday usage. So I characterize these apps based on 3 principles. 1, the simplicity of using the app. 2, the app's ability to really just get the job done, no questions, no frills. And 3, how practical it was and how often I was able to use this app. So based on these 3 principles, I've come up with a list of 6 applications that I'm going to go into detail later on in this video. If you want to see a full list of the applications, you can go ahead and go down to the video description where I have the entire list, as well as the timestamps in which they appear throughout this video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first app on my list is Alarm Clock Plus. It's this application right over here. And what I really love about this app is that it has tons of features, but you don't necessarily have to use them all in order to take full advantage of what it has to offer. So for example, we have shortcuts to our music and our photo library, but I really don't use these that much. And right now I'm going to focus on the alarm portion of the app because that's what it basically is. So it's really easy to set up an alarm. You go ahead and tap on the top, turn alarm on, and you can go ahead and set up your time. So let's say I have an 8 a.m. class, so I have to wake up at 7. And what I love most is that it has this feature called repeat, so I can set the days in which I want the alarm to ring. So let's say I only have that 8 a.m. class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's awesome. And then I can label it and be like, okay, right, yeah, so I do have Music 314 on those days. Although for me it was not at 8 a.m., thank God. So you can set up a label to know, like, why is my alarm even waking me up? Oh, right, I have this class. And then next we can choose alarm type. So you can choose from ringtones to the music on your own device, or music from like a different application like Spotify and such, and it's really pretty awesome. So I usually choose ringtone, but you have an option between each of these options. So like you have gentle, which means you can just have the application or the actual like tone to increase in steady increments, so it doesn't like wake you up all at once. Starts soft and gets louder. I like that one the best, so I'm not scared out of my socks at 7 in the morning. But you have that option, which I really dig. And then you also have other options which you don't necessarily have to toy with, but like max volume and stuff like that. Another option is the snooze duration. So you set a default duration for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Usually 5 minutes is pretty good. And then another option is math for dismiss. So like for you people that are like constant snooze abusers, you could have this alarm be like, nope, I'm not going to allow you to hit that snooze button until you solve a math problem. Now your math problem could be something as easy as like 2 plus 3, or something as like as hard as basic algebra or calculus, or probably not calculus, but you know what I mean. So you can set the difficulty for that and torture yourself before you wake up in the morning. And then of course you have an option to test the alarm before you actually trust the app to do its thing for you in the morning. So those are the basic features of Alarm Clock Plus. Another feature that I really love about it is the fact that you can just set up a nap instantaneously. You just hold and be like, I'm going to take a 25-minute nap, and you set it, and there you go. In 25 minutes, this thing will wake you up. And if you want to be more specific with your nap, you can scroll down to where it is and actually edit it like a regular alarm. So I'm not taking a nap, I'm doing a video review, so I'll turn that off. And as you can see, I have like tons of entries for alarms, so this thing is going to store as many as your heart desires. Alright, next I have Google Keep, which is this widget over here. This is a widget for the application Google Keep, which should come standard with Android phones, but if it doesn't, you can go ahead and download it from the Play Store. This is basically a to-do list slash like post-it note app for your phone. And again, kind of like the alarm clock, you can pretty much store as many post-it notes as you want. And what's really cool about these post-it notes, which I'm going to go ahead and do a sample one of, is that one, you can change the colors, which is like, I love colors, so, you know, you have things that pop like that. And then two, you can have things like lists or checkboxes, or even settings for these lists. And so you have, it's like post-it notes. And so, I don't know, I really dig it. I have sample lists, I guess, over here. Let's see what I have. Okay, so I have my homework, and basically, well, I finished all these homework because obviously I'm done with school, but you can go ahead and check things off as you go, and it's just a really neat way to organize everything. And the widget really helps because I see it straight on my home screen like that. And then you can also add a voice message to your note, or you can speak your note, is what it is. That's pretty accurate. And then you can also add a picture. I'm not going to really take a photo, but you can choose from your photo library or take a picture on your own. I have a sample one, actually. I should delete that. But I have a sample one that I can show you. All the way in the bottom, I was learning this piece called Noah Noah, and I had to remind myself how hard the piece was, so I'd get motivated to actually start learning it. But anyways, you can add a photo, it shows up like so. The cool thing about Google Keeps is that it synchronizes with your Google account. So if you either choose phone or change phones, or if you're on your computer, which is actually the most practical part, you can see these notes that you've created on your phone because it synchronizes with everything that runs your Google account. So there's an extension, I believe, for Google Chrome, so you can see, you know, your to-do lists and stuff on your computer, and I find that to be very useful as well. So that's it for Google Keep. On number 3, I have Business Calendar widget, and I mean, again, these are apps that I've been using for like years, ever since I got my very first Android phones and stuff that I've been reviewing and stuff, and this is also an ancient one, but it's had so many improvements over the years that I just have to keep bringing it up again. It's free. There's some ads that do pop up, and if you want to get the premium version, it just all it does is take away those ads and maybe unlock some new features, but I've been using the free version for many years now, so I think you guys can get away with it too. All these are free, by the way, because I know students are short on change. So basically, I love this app because I can actually see the text for each day and event of the month, just like I do on my oversized calendar at home, so I can really keep track of everything that I have to do. Now, it really looks like I'm not that busy over the summer, but it's just because I haven't entered everything that I have to do. During the school year, I was like super busy, as you can see, like everything that I've entered in. And it's cool because the events that show up as like individual times, you can view it like so, and then you can also have like events that span multiple days, and it'll appear in the calendar as such. And then, I mean, I'm not going to go really in depth as to everything that you can do with this application, but you have a whole host of settings. This is kind of the same principle as the Alarm Clock Plus, where you have tons of settings that you don't necessarily have to use, but it's available in case you really want to customize your experience with the app. And like, I can set up my colors and stuff. I really love that. And the second thing that I really love most about this application is the widgets. So we have the agenda widget, which I always keep on this front screen of my phone. And then I also have the big calendar widget again. So I don't, you know, I can scroll through my months and stuff and like, oh my god, I was so busy. It was just crazy. Yeah, so I can just see this, and it's one thing where, you know, you have a lot of things to do, but you have to like open up an actual app to see how many things you have to do. And it's another thing when all you have to do is turn on your phone and you see, oh my god, I have all these things I have to do. And it really gets you on your feet and really motivates you to get those things done. So that's why I really like this calendar app. So I see all my appointments for the day and for the week and for the month. and it's pretty simple and easy to use. Alright, so the next app on my list is Expense Manager. And the reason why I'm including this on the list is because as students, we're inevitably going to be incurring charges. And I think it's really important to be able to keep track of these charges and to know exactly how much you're going to be spending every month or every week. Not something like, oh, I know, like, I spent $10 there, wrote a check for like $100 and stuff like that. But like, it's kind of eye-opening when you see exactly how much you're spending down to the very cent. So this is just an example of the charges that you could be incurring like throughout the school year. And as you can see, I have a pretty simple layout of everything that I've been spending. So we have categories for things like music fees, like music accompanist fee or lesson fees, down to things that I've spent just for concerts or entertainment. And under these things, you can see specifically at what point did you incur these charges. So I like this app in that it's very simple. You can see in a very simple and easy to use interface how much you're spending. And it's also very easy to go ahead and record an expense. And this is important when you're establishing a habit, that the habit itself be simple. And that's why I chose this app. It doesn't have maybe a lot of the other features that more complicated apps have, but it gets the job done. You have a host of categories to choose from and create and customize your own liking down to the very color. I'm going to choose concerts, and let's say this was a ticket to go see like a flute concert. I can make a note that it was a flute concert and that I saw it yesterday. And you can go ahead and record it, and it's going to pop up under this tab of expenses. Saw a lot of flute concerts. Actually, I recorded this twice, so you can go ahead and delete it like so. Another cool feature about this app is this view called budget. So you can set an overall budget, say $2,000, and see that, okay, in the bar graph form, I'm about halfway through the year, and also about halfway through my budget, so it should be in pretty good shape. You can also set individual budgets, as is shown over here, on each individual category, so you could see how much you're spending in each category. And then you also have other things like distribution, statistics that you can unlock with the full app, but I think for me, I'm pretty good with what the free version has to offer. If you go to the history tab, then you could see in kind of like an agenda form everything that you've been incurring, and then you can also narrow it down to the category. And that's about it for this app. Now this alternative that I was talking about is called Expensify. And again, it's also simple and easy to use, but what this application has that the Expense Manager doesn't have is this new feature called Smart Scan. And what it does is you can take something like a receipt, for example, and let's say you went to Best Buy and you made a purchase of like $50. It'll go ahead and scan that receipt and fill out those details for you, so you don't have to type it out if you're like super lazy and stuff. The only downside that I found with Smart Scan is that it takes a while to scan, especially if receipts are like hard to read and stuff. At least this is just my experience, and I found that I just might as well type out the details myself. But you also have this thing called track time, where you can be like total number of hours worked. It's like 12, actually that's a lot, more like 8 per day or something, and then the hourly rate was something like $12. And it'll go ahead and calculate the total for you, so you don't have to pull out the calculator and do the math yourself. And then you can go ahead and label and report more details as you see fit. Then you have your expenses shown as such. And then with adding an expense, you kind of have the same simple layout. You can also add a photo, and then you also have the same options as you did before. So again, it's a pretty simple app, but it also comes with other features like the ability to generate reports. So it'll generate a report based on the expenses that you have incurred on this tab. And then what you can also do is go ahead and have it display trips. So let's say you bought a plane ticket online and you have that like ticket information forwarded to your email. Now you forward that email to receipts@expensify.com. And it's going to use the smart scan technology to read through that email and take out keywords so it can just pretty much give you an itinerary that looks like this. So that's also a pretty cool feature. So this is an alternative to Expense Manager. I think it's like, I mean, I really love to see the colors and like the categories of how each of my expenses have been organized and such. And maybe this one just has like a bit more frill than the other app, but it really just depends on what you feel is most useful to you. And here are your two alternatives. Alright, the next application on my list is Smart App Lock. And what it does is provides passcode protection for a list of apps that you choose to have protected. So for example, this app is locked, and I'm going to go ahead and type in my passcode in order to access the app. And here are the list of applications that I have protected. So as students, we've probably all found ourselves in a situation where our friends like steal our phones or borrow, quote unquote, your phones, and they go on Facebook and post statuses on your behalf, and you're like, no, if only it was locked. Well, now you have a solution to that issue, in that we can provide a lock for your app, like Facebook. What's cool about this app is that you have a host of features to choose from in order to customize your passcode and customize your protection. So, for example, if I go to App Lock, I can choose to have a fake dialog pop up. So this application will pretend like your phone is shutting down or your phone is actually like crashing the application Facebook, and then your friend will hopefully be like, oh, well, I guess this application is not working for me, and hopefully try not to access Facebook on your phone. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to turn that off for now. Another awesome feature is the observer feature. So this phone will start recording whoever's trying to access your application based on the number of times that they get the passcode wrong. And what's pretty cool about this is that not only does it record video and take pictures of your friend, but it can also blare out a customized warning message. So it goes something like this.
Wrong password. Get the fuck off this phone.
And you can change it to whatever you like it to say. And you can also have it scream a warning alarm so that it'll try and scare off other people. So yeah, I mean, this has like tons of features that you can customize for yourself and for your own app protection. You have like everything from the background of your lock screen, of the passcode screen, to the theme and like the brightness of the back and everything. It's pretty great. And we can change the lock type to either be a numerical passcode, a pattern, or just a character password or a gesture. So this is all pretty flexible to whatever you would like for your app protection. In addition to the app lock, we also have a screen lock. So let's say you're reading an ebook or browsing the internet, and you don't want your phone to automatically turn off the brightness like it does for your other applications. You can add applications to which this feature would apply. And then you also have the same thing but with rotation lock. So again, if you're like browsing the internet while, you're like, I usually do that while I'm in bed and just like checking my email and stuff, and I don't want the app to go ahead and like rotate the screen, I can choose to have it stay locked so I can read my emails and stuff. Overall, this is a very flexible app. It's like more of a service actually than an app, but like for you and like for me, you can get the free version. It's fine. You just have ads running in the bottom, but if you don't like the ads, you can always go ahead and buy the full version and support the developer. But either way, I highly recommend this app. It's great. Alright, the last app on this list is called KiteString. And this isn't so much of an app as it is a service, like, the Smart App Protector, but seriously, this isn't even an app. You just go to www.kitestring.io, and what this does for you is it kind of acts like your mom on campus. And this is going to sound like terrible, but we've probably, at least for college students, we've probably all been in a situation where we're walking home late at night alone, whether it be from dinner, from a party, etc. But in most cases, we want someone to know that, like, we've made it home all right, especially if it's, like, party, like, 2 in the morning or something. KiteString is your friend. So what you do is you tell KiteString, all right, I'm going to check in with you and say, like, I'm safe within 45 minutes. And then let's say, like, you do actually get kidnapped or something, or, like, someone steals your phone, or you're not able to check in with KiteString. KiteString is going to go ahead and send your emergency contacts a text message that goes something like this. So-and-so was supposed to check up on us, or check in with us, and they haven't. So-and-so might be in some sort of danger. Why don't you give them a phone call? And they'll tell your emergency contact, hey, alright, let's make sure that, I'm alright. And it sounds like a pretty simple service, and it is. It's basically a nice safety net to have so that in the event that something does actually happen to you while you're walking home at night, someone knows about it. And you can customize the emergency contacts based on who you trust the most, but basically to anyone that you want. Now, the service is completely free, and in this free service you have 10 trips and 1 emergency contact to designate. There's also a paid version, which is $3 a month for unlimited trips, unlimited contacts, and you can choose that if you really want to. But I just thought that this is a pretty useful thing to have, especially if you're college bound or already in college, or even if, like, you're not even a student and you're watching this video. It's a pretty useful feature to have, and yeah, that's all I've got to say about this. Alright, so that concludes my top 6 apps for students. I hope you find these applications to be very helpful. And as always, if you have any suggestions for apps, or anything actually, please do so in the comments below. And I do appreciate your feedback, so please rate, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time on the next video review or tutorial. Thanks.